Hey folks, my name's Kevin and it's time for a little bit more knife nerdery. Today we have an unboxing from a new friend of mine named Casper over in Norway, and I think this is just kind of a perfect example of why I love having this channel, because it means that I get introduced to really cool people from all over the world. Casper goes by the name Tre over on Instagram, and I don't speak Norwegian, so I'm probably not saying that quite right, but it literally translates to spoon of wood or wooden spoon, because Casper hand carves spoons. And he makes everything from eating spoons to cooking spoons and spatula type stuff, and it's really, really cool. And it also means that he works with knives, like blades, on a regular basis to carve stuff. And so he cares a lot about that. That'll come up at some point because he told me that he included some kangaroo leather in here, and we'll talk about that when we get there. I don't know if there's a better word for someone who makes spoons, like a haberdasher makes hats and a cordwainer makes shoes. So maybe there's a word for a spoon maker, but I don't know it. What's in here is a knife that I bought off him, which was really, really kind of him. He gave it to me for a good deal. And it's kind of relevant to both of these because it's kind of a cross between the two. This is the Peña X-Series Zulu, and it's a Crane's Cutlery exclusive. And this is the Urban EDC Supply company, F5.5 in their Seigaiha wave pattern. And what's in here is the Urban EDC Supply company Pena X-Series Apache in the Seigaiha wave pattern. And so both of these are relevant. I cut off the import customs label, but otherwise I haven't seen what's inside here. So it also like rattles in a way I wasn't quite expecting, so we'll see what's going on. Oh, of course, he used the wood shavings. That is very funny. This is the packaging. So this is the leather. We will talk about that in a moment. This is the X-Series. And this appears to be something he made. He did not tell me that he was including this. This is really cool. From the feel of it, I'm going to say it might be like a spreading knife. That is incredibly kind of you. I can't wait to check that out. Let's look at that. And this is oh, it smells really nice. It smells like wood. Okay, what should I open first? I think I will open, honestly, I think I'm going to open this first because I had no idea this was going to be in here. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, I love it. Oh, and it's so like lightweight, but it has a really nice rigidity to it. Yeah, so he made this by hand. How cool is that? I can't believe you just sent me this. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. This is incredible. I am very, very pleased with this, and it feels great. And this is great. This is so cool. I guess we'll go just talk about this at the same time. So like I said, he carves stuff all the time, and so he has to keep his knives really sharp. And most people that have to keep blades sharp on a regular basis are stropping them all the time. And this is kangaroo leather. And the reason why kangaroo leather matters is because it's really thin and dense, but has a very fine grain pattern. And as a result, if you make a strop out of this by putting it on a hard surface like wood or glass or something like that, you can create a strop that allows you to maintain your edge way more effectively than the thick, squishy, dense, not dense, the opposite of dense, the thick, squishy leather that most strops are made out of. Because when you use thick, squishy leather, as you push in, it kind of curls around the edge of your blade, and so the leather is actually kind of convexing the edge as you go, and so you can maintain a much better edge if you use something like this. I am not a master stropper by any means, and so I will probably get some tutorials from him and see, but I incredibly appreciate that. That is just very kind of you. I can't wait to try that out. Let's check out this double logo. Heard you like logos. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this wood shavings. They just are everywhere. Okay. Oh, yeah. That is freaking gorgeous. So you'll notice that the Seigaiha wave pattern is different. This is what a traditional Seigaiha wave pattern looks like. It's this kind of uniform cascading wave. Sometimes they have a little dot in the middle, sometimes they don't. And it's a pretty traditional Japanese pattern that's used on basically anything that would have a pattern on it, from clothing to tapestries to everything. And this version is like haphazardly, chaotically kind of warbled about everywhere in a way that looks really neat. And it's a design made by Adam Brackney, who goes by the name Workerman. And I believe it is indeed pronounced Workerman, even though there's not an extra R before that K. But he is a guy that just makes kind of neat, fun stuff in general across a wide variety of categories. General kind of EDC stuff you would carry in your pocket, and they all have this really kind of just fun sense of humor to them. I think he makes really cool stuff, and so it's neat that they collaborated together to make this, because this is, I guess, then a three-way collaboration between Adam Brackney, Urban EDC Supply Company, and Enrique Pena. I guess also Riyadh? I don't know. So, let's... Ooh, oh, I love that. So I already have this Zulu, and as much as I like the Zulu, it's not like exactly my ideal blade shape. It's close. Wow, it's not focusing at all. There we go. It's not my ideal blade shape because I like having the tip just a little bit further at the bottom, which makes this right up my alley. Ooh, that's nice. One of the things that I don't love about the Zulu is that the pocket clip is mounted reasonably high up. I also still have with me the Apache X-Series Trapper that is loaned to me by Corey. And he goes by Stafford EDC. I'll link to him. Part of the reason why I'm still holding on to this, I'm sorry it's taken me so long, Corey. I really appreciate it. But part of the reason why it's taken me so long is because I really wanted to see all three of these side by side, and I knew this was coming in the mail, but it was coming all the way from Norway. And I noticed that on these two, you can see the pocket clip is markedly lower down on this. It's the exact same pocket clip, and it's a full like 1/4 of an inch lower. And if you line up the handles. And so as a result, this one carries in your pocket just meaningfully deeper. And I noticed that the Apache does a similar thing. They're pretty much at the same spot at the back. And so I was excited for that. One thing I do notice right off the bat is that the grind on this comes up to about the same height as this. And I find that the grind on this trapper is a little bit too short for how thick the blade stock. This is not thick blade stock, but it's just thick enough that with a grind this short, it's not the best slicer through something like cardboard. And the Zulu with a taller grind is actually meaningfully improved. And so I think these are probably going to respond pretty darn similarly, but we'll find out. I will say that I love the look of this blade, though. And it's funny because I've kind of gotten a couple of these recently. This is my Burger LEXK CFL in the sheep's foot, and you can see that it is a sheep's foot with a swedge and a flat that comes out and extends past it. And it's just, I mean, these are obviously different blades, but it is a modified sheep's foot with a swedge and a flat that comes out past it. And it's just a style of blade shape I like a lot because it works really well for the utility cut box opening type stuff that I do most often. And the swedges on knives like this mean that it thins the blade out past where the flat ends. And so that's one thing that, like, you'll see that on the Trapper too, but it's pretty far up. So what I'm saying is that the full thickness of the blade stock is going to last all the way out to where this flat ends. And right past this point, because this swedge dips down below that, it starts cutting into where the grind is, and the grind is thinner than the flat, and so as a result, towards the front, it thins out. On the Trapper, it's only at the very front right here, and on the Apache, it comes all the way back to there. And so this will be thinner for like the I'd say that's about 35-40% of the blade than over here. And I think that will mean it will cut better if you're using up at the front. But this is definitely the kind of thing that I would use mostly for cutting on surfaces, utility cuts. And I think this tip is going to work really, really nicely for that. Okay, how does this close? I don't think I've even closed it yet. Fall to the thumb. Okay, so right off the bat, this is the tightest of the three. And I think it might be something that I could tune. I don't know. I'll play with it. It might just be the way it is, because this one is also the only one that is a full frame lock. Both of these, and I think honestly maybe all of the ones that are not full tie, are bolster locks. And bolster locks work very, very similarly to a frame lock and very, very similarly to a liner lock. And from a strength of lock bar perspective, they tend to be closer to a liner lock because they effectively are a liner lock in the sense that they have a thinner piece of metal here that's sitting behind the liner. And so on both of these, the strength of this is reasonably light, and it's that pressure against the blade that makes something fall shut freely or not for the vast most part. So these both. And this one is the easiest. This one has a better detent. And so this one's, it has a better detent, I think mostly because of slightly stronger lock bar pressure. Because when I looked at the detent ball, they are about the same in terms of engagement. And so this one doesn't fall quite as smoothly, but it's still really easy to close. This one is definitely the strongest of all of them. Has a very nice snap to it. But this, I can feel, the pressure you have to push this over with is significantly stronger. And so it's putting more pressure on the blade, and that is why it does not close quite as smoothly. I should rephrase that. It's not that this action feels unsmooth. This is actually very smooth. It's just you have to kind of shake it closed more, and that's what I mean, because it's not just kind of gliding home on its own. But the result of that, ooh, that is snappy. That is so snappy. Let me think. What else would I want to notice about these? This one has a even. It's in the same direction as the Zulu in terms of having a thicker blade handle at the back. It actually has a pretty similar profile, is my guess. If I hold these up. Yeah, it's pretty darn similar in terms of the thickness at the back. And so all three of these swell out at the bottom, and I like that swell at the bottom because it means that you get a pretty good purchase and torque with your pinky finger. And when you're pushing through something and the blade is being pushed back up this way, it's pivoting about, mostly it's like pivoting about your kind of index finger area and your thumb as if this was like the lever, like a seesaw. And that means at the back of your hand, it's when you're pushing up here, it's pushing down there. And so it's your pinky finger at the back that's really providing a lot of the force. And holding it in place. And so I like when knives kind of curve down like this because it means that you get a really, just a lot of contact. It's not like all the way up there. It just means that you get a good grip and can apply pressure there well. And so all three of them are doing that. This one is so much bigger feeling. Yeah, that's pretty similar. From a thickness perspective, it looks about the same. I love these contoured handles, and I just really find this pattern kind of entrancing in a way. Okay, I do believe, so one of the fun things about the Zulu, I'm probably going to mess it up on camera, but one of the fun things about it is that the grind comes up high enough and the blade sticks out far enough that if you hold it right, you can middle finger flick it. And on the Trapper, you can see that because it's a flat right here, you just can't really do that the same way. Maybe someone could, and I think I've been told by people that if you're a lefty, you can get enough traction against the nail nick that you can lefty flick it, but I can't lefty flick literally anything. And I do notice that the flat coming out here means that this isn't a similar boat where you don't really have traction. You can't rest your finger into the bevel itself and flick out. And that is fun, and I will miss that when using this one compared to this. Just give it a Hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. How did I do that? Interesting. So what I'm doing is just pushing my finger on this, and there's apparently just enough traction, and the detent on this is just light enough. It's obviously not the most reliable deployment format. That's really cool. Okay, I have already talked more about this than I probably should in an unboxing, but that is very typical of me. I love this. I am very pleased. Thank you, Casper, for selling this to me. This is from Urban EDC Supply Company, and they sold out. And so I'm really excited that I got to have that. And thank you so much for sending these things along. That is incredibly kind of you. There is one last thing I wanted to talk about, actually. And as I said, these are both from Urban EDC Supply Company. And they recently just reached out to me and asked if I wanted to join their ambassador program. And I was honestly really surprised to hear that because I'm a pretty darn small channel. And I was a little bit hesitant at first because I learned that their ambassador program is the kind of thing that earns me a commission as opposed to something that offers you, the shopper, like a discount. And I'm personally more interested in the kinds of things that would let me offer viewers of my channel an opportunity to save some kind of money rather than something that earns me money. And I gave them that feedback, and they actually told me that they're working on a discount program as part of their ambassador program in the future. I don't know when that'll come around, but I really appreciated that they listened to me on that. So they ended up giving me a referral link, and I want to talk about how that works because the way that it happens is basically if you click on my referral link and if you buy anything from Urban EDC Supply Company, I would make a small percentage of your sale as a commission. And I want to be very clear, I'm not in any way encouraging you to buy stuff that you weren't going to buy anyway. But the reality is the reason why I went ahead with this is because I actually think they make really cool stuff. I've bought quite a few things from them already, and I have a couple of pre-orders on the way. One of the things that really excites me about what they do is they do these kinds of custom collaborations. Like this is a custom version in a really unique custom version of a knife that you can get elsewhere. But the F5.5 is a knife that is exclusively a design that they did with Jesper Voxnaes. Like this is something that wouldn't exist in the world in its form because it's based on a larger custom that Vox did, but it wouldn't exist if it weren't for them. And so they also have a Justin Lundquist Baby Barlow that I pre-ordered, and another Vox design, the Copita, that I also ordered. And I legitimately really like this company, and I think they make really cool stuff. So if you find stuff on their website that you like as well, and if you want to help my channel by using my referral link, then that's really awesome, and I really appreciate it. I'm definitely not going to be one of those people that points to all of my referral links at the beginning of every video kind of stuff, in part just because no, I'm not that kind of person. But if you want to buy something that you were planning to buy anyway, and you find something that you really think is cool, and you want to use my referral link, I do obviously really appreciate that. So anyway, yeah. So thank you again, Casper, and I'll catch you guys next time.